when it comes to diet, it's really important that we have measurable targets. I hate it when people say to us, don't give your children too much sugar. How much is too much? How do we know? This is what I'm here to tell you today. Too much sugar is more than 3 teaspoons on average per day. That means if you took all the sugar intake that your child has over the course of the week and divided it by 7 days, there shouldn't be more than 3 teaspoons per day. This does not mean that we sit and try to get 3 teaspoons into every day, and I'll explain why. Having frequent sugars means frequent attacks of acid on our teeth, and this means there's more time for those sugar bugs to do the damage on the teeth, which is why it's better to have 1 or 2 attacks of acid per week or sugary intakes per week rather than having daily or multiple times per day. It's all about the balance and making sure that the times that your teeth are exposed to risk are much, much less than the times that your teeth are nice and safe. But how do you count the sugars? This is the tricky part. Nobody actually explains to us how to count the sugars. We're told in teaspoons, but then when you look at all the packaging, it's all in grams, and it's not very understandable, and they do that for a reason. I'll give you an example. On Nutella, if you read the packaging, it tells you that 15 grams is a portion. I have real life children, and I can assure you that is not the portion of Nutella that they have. They usually have about 50 grams if I'm looking, and maybe 100 grams if I'm not looking. So when we look at the column on the nutritional facts for Nutella, and we go down to the amount of sugars in 100 grams, which is actually 2 heaped tablespoons of Nutella, it tells you that there's 56.3 grams of sugar. If you wanted to convert that into teaspoons, which is more understandable and something that you can envision, all you have to do is divide by 4. 4 is the magic number. So divide by 4 grams, that gives you a teaspoon. So every 4 grams is 1 teaspoon. 56.3 gives us just over 14 teaspoons. So in 2 big spoonfuls of Nutella, there are 14 teaspoons of sugar, which is much more than the recommended daily allowance, and it's more like 3 or 4 days worth of sugar. So knowing that doesn't mean that you have to avoid it entirely, but means that if you do have it, you don't have sugar for a couple of days before or after. By doing this, it means that you can make sure that your child is not exposed to too much sugars. But also by counting the sugars, it means that you can check labels together and you can reach a decision as to what they're going to eat and why. When checking labels, if you went to the chocolate spread aisle, you'd see that actually there is a chocolate spread which is much, much lower in sugar. It's called Jim Jams. That's the one I buy for my family. And every 100 grams, there's 8 grams of sugar. So 8.7 grams of sugar is just over 2 teaspoons. So just simple things like learning about the alternatives can help you as a family to bring down your sugar intake. But it's all about involving your children and making sure that they are part of the decisions that you're making, and that means reading the labels together. If they ask you if they can have something, don't say yes or no. Say, I don't know. Let's read the label together. Let's check. Let's see how much sugar is in it. And then you can decide if that's what you want to spend your sugar on. So by spending sugar, I mean treat it like an allowance. They're getting 3 teaspoons a day. They save it up. They use it in 1 or 2 occasions during the week. And that way they feel in control and they feel empowered, but also they learn how to moderate. And it means that when they are older and they go out into the world on their own, they know how to base their decisions on their food choices or sugar choices in a better way. And this is what's really, really important. Another thing that is important is recognizing that there are hidden sugars. Hidden sugars are the sugars in things that we don't expect to have sugar in. So this can be savory things, but it can also be fruity things. It can also be lots of natural things. So lots of people think that natural honey, because it's a natural sugar, cannot damage your body or your teeth. Yes, it might be better for your body, but in terms of sugariness, it's actually probably more sugary than Nutella. Some honeys have as much as 20 teaspoons of sugar in every 100 grams, which is quite a lot of sugar. It's more than Nutella. So being aware that all sugars can harm your teeth regardless of where they came from, if they're natural or not, the sugar bugs just don't care. So making sure that you are aware of this means that you can protect your teeth afterwards to make sure that they are not damaged by the sugary intake, and also that you can cut it down and not have it so frequently. When it comes to fruits, everybody asks me, but what about fruits? Can we have fruits? My child loves fruits. Fresh fruit is very different. Fresh fruit is different because when you start to chew it, that's when it starts to break down into sugars and acids from the enzymes within the fruit and in your mouth, which means that by the time it's become very sugary or acidic, you've already swallowed it and it's in your tummy. So it's not so damaging to your teeth. You should still do some protective factors afterwards, and I'll talk about protective factors next. However, if you have fruit in different forms, such as juices or dried fruits or fruit roll ups, that is very, very different. It's different because it's already been broken down into sugars and acids, and it will hit your teeth sugary and acidic immediately. It also means you'll be consuming more of that fruit. If I was to give you 5 apples, I don't think many people could sit and eat 5 apples. But if you have a fruit juice, which has, or an apple juice, this will have the juice of 5 apples approximately, giving you 5 teaspoons of sugar. So making sure that we have fresh fruit is fine in the whole form, and still doing a little bit of protection afterwards is great, but please avoid fruits when they come in different forms, such as juices. Even fruit roll ups and dried fruits can be damaging to our teeth because they are very sugary and they do stick to our teeth. So, making sure that things don't stick to your teeth when you're having them as a snack is really important. Or if they do, making sure you remove them immediately afterwards by brushing or rinsing or chewing some gum. So, what are the protective factors that you can do after you have eaten something which is not so good for your teeth or just eaten in general? The first and simplest thing you can do is you can take some water in your mouth and you can rinse out your mouth. You can rinse out your mouth using your water bottle and swallow it, or you can rinse out in the bathroom. Just make it easy, don't make it hard, guys. Just stick to whatever is available. If you have rinsed your mouth and you want to take it to another level, or you can't rinse your mouth, you can put some tooth mousse on your teeth. Tooth mousse is a great protective factor because it decreases the acidity in your mouth and it remineralizes your teeth at the same time. So it means that the damage that has been done by any acidic or sugary things that you've had can be taken away immediately. So instead of your mouth taking around half an hour to return to a neutral state, which is not acidic, the tooth mousse will do that immediately for you, which means that your teeth are in a safe zone immediately. Another thing you can do is if you've had anything that sticks to the surfaces of the teeth is to brush it away. This can be a dry brush. It doesn't have to be a huge 2-minute brushing in the bathroom. You can brush in the car, you can brush on the go. It really doesn't matter. You can spit out into a tissue. You can brush with just water if you're just trying to mechanically remove any debris from the teeth. Or if you can't brush, you can chew some sugar-free gum. Chewing sugar-free gum has been shown to remove 43 times more debris from the teeth than rinsing. So rinsing for 1 minute with water versus chewing sugar-free gum for 4 minutes is 43 times more effective. So you can chew sugar-free gum to clean your teeth. It also stimulates the saliva in your mouth, bringing down the acidity. So we've got lots of tools in our toolkit to make sure that we have more protective factors for our teeth, and that's really, really important.